soy, all those different things. But ultimately, a burger needs a nice little side companion, and that's where a pickle definitely comes hand in hand. And I was mentioning that I was kind of looking up some of the history of hamburgers and noticed that in the early 1900s, basically, a hamburger at the time, it wasn't even named that, but essentially a ground beef patty that was put in between two pieces of bread was served alongside a pickle. So that's I think a nice little introduction to you, Harold.
Well, thank you, Eddie 1, Eddie 2. We came up with a honey mustard pickle, probably item number 11 on our list. And that is a New York crispy dill pickle, which has natural honey in it and some spicy mustard.
Wow.
And if that's not the cutting edge or the golden topping to put on a hamburger, I don't know what is. We've also got a sweet and spicy pickle chip, which is once again, it starts off as a dill chip. It's sweetened with natural agave. It's certified kosher organic. Sweet up front, nice little back on the backside. Now, if you put that on a burger, a sandwich, a salad, piece of chicken, piece of fish on the barbecue,
Right.
Scrambled eggs in the morning, tuna fish for lunch. It's a breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack pickle chip.
Wow, and something interesting too that actually just I love sports and just in having you here with us right now on Firehouse Chefs Radio. There was recently like a video clip in showing a football player that was actually on the bench drinking pickle juice as a way to kind of replenish some of his electrolytes and stuff like that. Are you kind of familiar with that too?
Best kept secret in town is how many sports figures and runners drink pickle brine. Like you said, it's the number one way to restore the electrolytes and the enzymes back to the brain. It's the number one to rehydrate a human body known to mankind is pickle brine. But it's the best kept secret in town. Runners will drink it. It will prevent them from cramping. A lot of your top 10 contenders that do 26 long-mile runs will drink pickle brine. That's their secret ingredient to reduce the cramping.
Wow, that's yeah. You know what? And I'm sure a lot of folks in America didn't know that, but now that they're catching glimpses of athletes actually doing that on the sidelines, and obviously, if it works for well-trained athletes that have to perform at such a high level, why wouldn't it work for us, right? And now I'm kind of even thinking about firefighters and firefighters having to, same thing, replenish a lot of their electrolytes and different things that we lose during the course of aggressive movements and that type of thing that the demands of our job.
Well, it also goes back to when you were a little kid. If your mother would mention, how about some sauerkraut on your sandwich, most 8 out of 10 children would make a funny face.
Mm-hmm.
Today, sauerkraut is your number one preventer of cancer. Now, the hot dog might kill you in the long run, but the sauerkraut is the superhero at the end of the day.
Well, that's pretty funny, and we kind of were joking about that as well, just saying how obviously burgers are just such a staple in the American diet these days, and it's obviously a great comfort food, and like anything, you just have to be a little bit careful, a little moderation there, but there's nothing wrong with a good burger. Here in California, In-N-Out Burger, the In-N-Out Burger chain is very, very popular, and I know you are from New York originally, and now you are in Florida. What are some of the real popular chains out there?
Pickles, pickles, and pickles. That's the most popular train.
Well, aside from the pickles that are gonna, what about the burgers that they're gonna, that you're gonna serve the pickles with? Do you have a favorite burger spot?
There really isn't. And if you look at your traditional Northeast hot dog and burger stand,
Uh-huh.
you don't have that That's the one thing that you miss from the Northeast, or the people and the food. You'll hear that constantly. Nobody misses the weather. Everybody misses the people and the food.
Right. Okay.
Especially when it comes to burgers. You have a lot of franchises down here.
Okay. Okay.
You don't have the small mom and pop, burger shops like you did years ago.
Right. And so, Harold, let's get back to real quick. So you were a firefighter in New York, and you were actually there for 9/11, and I believe you mentioned when we spoke earlier you were there for 17 days on the pile. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's obviously such a tragedy that we keep in our hearts and minds all the time. And I know here on Firehouse Chefs Radio, we always try to remember those that sacrificed everything for the rest of us. And this has been a really tough year. In fact, it's been the toughest year since 9/11 in terms of large loss of firefighters. Obviously, here close to California in Arizona, we had the Granite Mountain Hotshots, the 19 firefighters that lost their lives. And, that was the largest loss of life since 9/11, the 343 heroes that died that day in New York. So I wanted to thank you for your service and, being there in New York, actively engaged in trying to rescue people from the pile. And it's interesting, obviously, that then you moved on to Florida and now doing what you're doing in the pickle world. Tell us about that transition.
Well, number one, remember you're only as good as your last pickle. And like we tell people, you have a problem with your pickle, you give us a call. We stand behind our product 110%.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is fresh made, certified kosher, organic products. They're sold at farmers markets from Melbourne down to Miami on the east coast of Florida. We're in a couple of small stores up and down the east coast as well. I had to leave New York after September 11th within 6 months.
Okay.
I just knew my heart wasn't there anymore,
right.
And I had to leave. Within a year, I ended up with a nervous breakdown, and I knew I had to go somewhere. Florida was the only option at that point that I could think of. So I came down, went back and forth for a few years, but this was my final destiny.
Okay.
Always pickled, started in the 70s, had a sweet and spicy pickle chip, came up with the name around 1977 of Dr. Pickle, and that was your traditional sweet and spicy pickle chip that was meant for a burger. Today, that's still one of our number one selling items, is a sweet and spicy pickle chip. All natural, no preservatives, lasts about 45 days, nice, crisp, crunchy pickle chip, little sweet up front, little spice on the backside. And any of the brothers that come up to any of our farmers market booths, they always get a discount. If they identify who they are, we always take care of our own.
Okay, that's great. And I wanted to say hi to Chef Bev. I think, Chef Bev, you're online right now, and we're talking to Harold Pitts right now. He is in Florida, so I wanted to just get Harold's a little bit more time since he's calling long distance, and obviously he's got the 3-hour jump on us right now. So hang tight, Chef, and then you'll get to actually. I'd love to hear your commentary after this cool interview with Harold. So, Harold, why don't you tell us, the Firehouse Chef Radio listeners, where can we find you guys? Tell us about your website and any other social media.
Well, Dr. Pickle says it all. DoctorPickle spelled out. That's www.drpickle.com is a website where you can order products. We ship them out Monday afternoons at 2 o'clock. Depending where you live, you'll have them Tuesday or Wednesday morning. You can call my telephone direct, 772 area code 985-5919. We answer our phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You ever have a problem with your pickle, you give us a call. We're up all night worrying about the pickles anyway, so you never have to worry about waking us.
Okay, well, you know what? This was a great segment, and thank you so much for calling Firehouse Chefs Radio and being part of our show tonight, Harold. We really, really appreciate it. And Harold's actually going to send us some product, everyone out there, and we're going to get to sample them right here in the studio. And who knows? Someday, if you're here on the West Coast, you're going to have to stop into the studio. But we'll definitely have Dr. Pickle's products here. Harold, we really thank you for coming on Firehouse Chefs Radio. And again, this episode will be on YouTube tomorrow, so you can play it for your folks in Florida, New York, everywhere, okay?
Very good. Eddie 1, Eddie 2, thank you very much, and have a great holiday.
Thank you, sir. And everybody out there listening, this is Firehouse Chefs Radio, episode 26, and stay tuned for more talk about burgers and restaurants. Chef Bev, I know you're there. Thank you so much for holding on. We'll get you on the next segment, and we'll get to hear what Chef Bev has to say. This is Firehouse Chefs Radio, and stay tuned for more. 855-969-7268, 855-969-RANT, R-A-N-T.
After we get drunk, if they had a line we could call.
We can call their drunk line. You can leave a message and then log on to the site and listen to your stupidity afterwards.
What's that number?
It's 855-MICHE-69.
What's that number again?
855-MICHE-69.
Awesome. Mucho macho michelada.
ProTech Carpet Tile and Care provides professional cleaning services for carpet, tile, grout, upholstery, and fine area rugs.
ProTech technicians are professionally trained and certified cleaning and restoration experts.
We specialize in restoring damage caused by heavy soil and odor.
We can remove challenging spots such as coffee, tea, 00 and visit us on our website, www.myprotechsite.com.
Hey, this is Joe Perez, owner at ProTech. Just reminding you that ProTech Carpet and Tile Care is your professional choice.
Welcome back to Firehouse Chefs Radio, everybody. I am your host, Eddie Sell, and I'm joined by my co-host tonight, Eddie Cardenas, chef and also musician. And today, we also want to call him Eddie, too, just so there's no confusion out there. Again, this is Firehouse Chefs Radio, episode 26 for December 18th, 2013. And you are listening to us and watching us live at rantradionetwork.com. Make sure that you go to rantradionetwork.com and click on Firehouse Chefs Radio for all of our archived episodes. And that'll be available tomorrow, also on YouTube. That was an interesting segment with Mr. Harold Pitts. the Dr. Pickle gentleman. And he was calling all the way from Florida, so let's go ahead and get to, we should have Chef Bev on the line right now. Chef Bev, you are on Firehouse Chefs Radio with Eddie 1 and Eddie 2. Are you there?
I'm here. What's up, Chef?
How are you?
Good. How about you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. We really, really appreciate it. And did you get to hear Harold Pitts, the Pickle doctor, or the Dr. Pickle, rather?
Just a little. I just got excited with the name, Dr. Pickle. Just, you hung up on me. I don't know if you got excited or I got excited. So, with that name, who knows? But, yeah, I got to hear it. So you guys are talking about burgers again, right?
We are. We're talking about burgers, and then not only burgers, but we started the conversation last week of also restaurants and some of the things in particular with restaurants, like what makes a great restaurant, what are the things that that folks out there really, really appreciate. Is it great service? Is it great food? Is it a great theme? Combination of all, So I was telling Chef Eddie that it was going to be cool to have you on the phone with us tonight because we can specifically get your opinion about those two topics tonight of burgers and also restaurants, and just pick your brain. So
it's an honor to talk to both of you tonight. I agree. I think all three make a big difference in a great restaurant.
Right.
I mean, without great service, without great food, without the theme, it's not a restaurant.
Right.
I work for Border Grill, and I've been with them for 3 years, and I've worked many restaurants. And all of the restaurants that I've worked for, this is the one place that I would never leave.
Wow.
Because of it's just a great company to work for. Not only just because of the name and Chef Mary Sue Milken and Chef Benniger working for them is an honor, but we're one big happy family. And when you walk into that restaurant, it's just very friendly. That's either in Santa Monica, Los Angeles, and in Las Vegas in Mandalay Bay, and now they have a new one up in LAX.
Do they really? Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. So they're expanding, and also they're expanding also now in Caesar's Palace in Vegas.
Wow.
So that's going to work. But like I said, it's one restaurant that you feel like you're walking into somebody's home when you're feeling welcome. And basically, I agree with. You want all that service. You want to feel comfortable as you walk in. You don't want to feel intimidated by anybody because you're the paying customer.
Absolutely.
You want to have great food. You want to have that great service. So, without that, I mean, I've experienced. I'm sure you guys have also, to where you would walk into a restaurant, you don't get any of those, or one or the other, and the food's not there. It's not good. It's not. There's no passion in it. So, I always try to, on my show, Culinary Trends, that's on Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we always try to help out our local restaurants, whether it be in Long Beach, because I'm from Long Beach. I know you guys are too.
Right.
And there's a lot of great small restaurants out there in the LBC.
Oh, totally.
And without those little restaurants, I mean, it makes the city.
Right.
And up here in Whittier, also uptown Whittier, there's a lot of great little restaurants out there, and they're either family-owned and small businesses out there. It's just like you can feel the passion in the food. And again, it's up to the chef also, because that's the captain of the ship.
Right.
So it depends. I mean, we try to steer people away from going corporate, and it's hard to not go to Chili's or McDonald's and all those places when you're talking about burgers, but I think there's more better restaurants to go to for that service and great food.
I totally agree with you, and I think Chef Eddie would agree as well. And like you said, I mean the executive chef is the captain of the ship, so to speak, and he or she and you also have to work in tandem with a great front of the house staff, and obviously a great manager and a chef together is ultimately what you really, really want, to have that front of the house and back of the house just firing on all cylinders. And that's just huge because Yeah, and that makes every difference. I know to me, and sometimes you can even go to a restaurant that has a higher price point, and you can be just totally shocked in a negative way because,
Exactly.
yeah, nobody has greeted you, or
Right.
they're just so pretentious, or some of these other things that you might feel, and versus another place that understands how to hit a home run with those important categories. And those are the places that obviously, especially in this day and age when people don't have as much discretionary income, and it's very, very important to make choices. They're not going to go out to dinner multiple times a week. It's going to be once a week, or maybe even once a month. So it's really, wouldn't you agree? I mean, it's so important. I know to us in the FireHouse chefs, whether it's the food truck or our catering, and hopefully soon in a brick and mortar. It's all about the customer service. It's all about the quality. It's all about the presentation. I actually I came up with like the 3 P's before of pride, professionalism, and presentation. And I think that's essentially what we all strive to do as good chefs and just good restaurateurs. It's so important to have all those things.
It is, and you and I, we both work on a truck, or we do catering. And even on a truck, people expect that.
Right. Sure.
You're taking an order in the window. You have to be that friendly person and make them feel like, hey, you're number one. What can we do for you? What would you like from us tonight or today? And instead of being the one, okay, how can I help you? What do you want? You get turned off. You really do. And I especially, working, I'm sure you're the same way. When you go to a restaurant, you walk in, you expect that service, and that your standards are high. Your standards are really high when it comes to that. And we're not being snobby, because a lot of people say, well, because you're a chef or because you work for a big-name restaurant, you're being snobby about it. No, it's not that. It's, you expect that. Because
absolutely, because you do it yourself. And if we believe in it ourselves, then I sure expect that anyone in any position of that restaurant should do exactly the same thing.
Right. And, for example, last night we had gone to our friend Chef Alex Moreno from Border Grill, who was on Chop last night.
Uh-huh.
And it was an amazing experience because all of Border Grill family was there to cheer him on, whether if he was going to win or if he was going to lose. And he won, on the show. But the family just being there together to cheer one person on, whether it be him or a waiter,
right?
It shows how close we're all together, as a team, and so it's very important. I mean, for me, when I go to a restaurant and if I get bad service, I will complain right away. I'm very sarcastic, and I will tell that waiter, hey, are you having a bad day?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on? What's going on? And, I could be that real bee and go, okay, I'm going on Yelp as you go get my order.
Well, and I agree with you. And I think as long as you don't come off, obviously, and totally humiliate somebody, but I know they really appreciate it. And I know these days when people do ask you and they come to your table and say, how was everything? Well, you know what? Actually, this could have been done better, or, my steak was not medium rare, or some of those things, because they have to know, they do have to be accountable these days and really care, because if they want to battle, so to speak, for a customer base that doesn't have that sort of discretionary income, just kind of like what we mentioned, it's important to do those things right and really care about what the customer has to say.
Yeah, and you're right. When it comes to the food, it is, and they have to think about that as management. They have to realize, well, we have to produce great food and make sure it's consistent every time. It doesn't matter what time or day.
Right.
Every day it has to be the same, because it's all about cost, and a lot of people don't know about that. That's a great subject to talk about, is cost in a restaurant, and make people realize, well, we have to make money too on that end.
Well, and that's it's so funny too that you mentioned that, because I know that especially in quote unquote, friend discounts and a lot of that sort of thing, right? People
Right.
expect us to discount the world, and
Right.
no one seems, they forget to forget little things like labor, for example,
Right. Mm-hmm.
logistics,
Exactly.
food cost. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
most restaurants are going to operate somewhere at 30% or so, like food cost, and that obviously that number just changes drastically. Like if the chef doesn't know what they're doing, if the GM doesn't know
Right.
what they're doing, and all the whole combination. So, but you know what? Thank you so much for calling in. We are
Oh, no
coming up
problem.
on a break,
Anytime.
and everybody out there, make sure you catch Chef Bev's show every Thursday at rantradionetwork.com. Culinary Trends, 8 p.m., 8 to 9 p.m. as well, Pacific Standard Time. Correct, Bev?
Yes, chef.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, and
All right.
make
Thank you,
sure,
Eddie.
make sure that that you. What are you up to, real quick? Because I had heard a rumor that you're up to something maybe in the media world, but is that going on?
Yeah. Coming up real soon. Hopefully, sometime next year, we'll keep you guys posted.
All right.
It's a huge event, so
Okay.
I'll let you know.
Okay, we're going to stay tuned for hearing about that in 2014. Chef Bev, stay safe. Happy holidays to you and your
too.
family.
Merry
Okay,
Christmas.
and
Same to you.
we will talk soon.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, you're listening to Firehouse Chefs Radio on the Rant Radio Network, 855-969 RANT, 855-969-7268. Stay tuned. One more segment. Burgers, burgers, burgers. Eddie 1 and Eddie 2, FHC Radio.
Add some crazy flavor to your vape pen. You're looking for something new and exciting in liquid vapor? Go to Crazy Cloud's e-juice. Find them at burstoflavor.com and try any of the new 12 flavors they have available: blueberry, mint, raspberry, chocolate, gummy bear, hemp, watermelon, cola, orange, pina colada, coconut, or red bully. Call us today at 855-WE-BURST or visit us at burstoflavor.com and order yours today.
The Share Foundation is the health division of the Coy Chiropractic Institute, a 501c3 509A2 public nonprofit organization dedicated to the growth and development of the natural health care services, in particular through the chiropractic profession, offering health services at the Share clinics in the greater Los Angeles area. Your donations can help in expanding these facilities across the nation, research programs, and public education, thus offering a solution to the many of the health challenges we face. Your donations are tax deductible and can be sent through our website at www.sharefoundation.com. That's www.cherfoundation.com by clicking on the donation button. Thank you.
The experts know that for pastry, Baker's Bodega has it all. Exclusive brands like Westco Bankmart, Satin Ice, and Pastry Pride. One-on-one day seminars for cake decorating and gelatin art. So for our service, wide range of ingredients and supplies, and for the low prices, Baker's Bodega has it all. But you don't need to be an expert. Baker's Bodega, 7869 Paramount Boulevard in Pico Rivera. Come, we're waiting for you.
Number one. Number one.
Is that a stutter or as high as you can count?
I was ordering number one tequila.
Everybody's asking for number one.
Great, another fancy bottle.
These guys are true artists. Never compromise integrity. They make tequila
Come
the
on.
old-fashioned way. Never mass-produced.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying have the number one. Anything less is number two. Number one tequila.
Welcome back to Firehouse Chefs Radio. This is Firehouse Chefs Radio, episode 26 for December 18th, 2013. And this is our final segment. It's been a really, really fun show. I'm your host, Eddie Sell, and I'm joined tonight in studio by my co-host and chef, Eddie Cardenas. So welcome again, Eddie. Thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you for having me again.
It's been a great show, great callers. We really, really appreciate Harold Pitts, the former New York firefighter and now the entrepreneur and the owner of Dr. Pickle, for calling in from Florida earlier in the show. And then in the last segment, having Chef Bev Lazo call in. And Chef Bev, you can find her here at Rant Radio Network every Thursday, 8 to 9 p.m. for her show, Culinary Trends. So it was awesome having them call in today. And, of course, we were talking about a couple topics today, burgers, and then also continuing the topic from last week about restaurants. And Chef Bev totally agreed with a lot of our points that basically it really is a combination of things that, in our opinion, kind of make a great restaurant. So from that moment you walk in the door and you're greeted with the right customer service and just, just being attentive to the customer's needs, and making that person feel right at home in your establishment is going to be great. And then obviously great food. I mean, great food is paramount here, so it's important to have that. And that comes with Lewis's Lunch, which was a small lunch wagon in New Haven, Connecticut, sold the first hamburger and steak sandwich back in 1900 here in the United States. So 1900 was supposedly when the first hamburger was sold in the U.S. And also New York Magazine said the dish had no name. The dish, meaning just hamburger, had no actual name until some rowdy sailors from Hamburg named the meat on the bun after themselves years later. So that's kind of interesting. Once again, sailors, help mark the world. So I'll take some pride in that, being a sailor. So there's a lot of different stories out there that kind of dispute the true origin of the burger. But the bottom line, whether it came from Hamburg, Germany, or the United States in the late 1800s, early 1900s, I think without a doubt, the United States has now perfected it, and we have really, we've really put it on the map, worldwide. I think when you think of America, you think of a burger, right? Wouldn't you say? You think of burger and fries. So having Harold Pitts on
Right. It was a couple years back. Me and my band, we were doing some Latin Nation kind of thing on TV, and we were actually staying for free at the Omni Hotel in Los Angeles, and we had a couple of drinks, and we were getting hungry as most musicians and chefs do. So having high standards for food, I wanted to see what was good on the menu for room service, and since the food was free, I kind of went to town, and I noticed they had the Omni Burger, so it was it wasn't available. And I called down, asked the chef to see if he could prepare one of the Omni burgers. He said he has ground lamb. So I'm like, I haven't had a lamb burger yet, so let me try it. He brought up this beautifully made, almost a third pound of just ground lamb in between two potato buns, and it was just heaven. It was pepper jack cheese, sautéed mushrooms, garlic aioli, and caramelized onions, and it was just
that sounds delicious.
Yeah, it was beautiful. So I've gone back and forth a couple times throughout the years, not even staying at the hotel, just to bug room service and have me bring one out to go.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much that place had an impact on me.
Now, in terms of and that's great. That's a great, and I'm sure that the people listening tonight they have a similar type of story. And then I know some people were trying to call earlier. So if you do have a chance, you can squeeze in a call at 855-969-7268, 855-969-RANT, R-A-N-T. But, I'm curious to know, what do you prefer burgers that are done on a flat top, or do you like, char grilled? Yeah, and so what we're talking about is the ratio of fat. So having 20% fat typically forms a really nice patty for you, and it has enough fat that it's going to hold together. It's going to cook nicely and just be really flavorful, and it's also going to stay juicy. So, and typically too, most places you're going to want to leave your burger medium.
Right.
is probably the best thing that we would recommend. And these days too, I mean, people are doing. Well, in my research, it was interesting. Actually, like in the early 1900s, there was a place here in the U.S. that was actually doing the fried egg on top of the burger, and of course, that's become very trendy as of late.
Right.
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of chains. Fat Burger does it. We do it on the FireHouse Chef's food truck, but we actually take a little fried quail egg, and it's the same concept. But since we do sliders, it's the same exact thing. So, there's something nice about just having that fried egg on there and then biting into your burger, and then it's almost like a sauce,
Yeah.
that the yolk splits, oozes all over the place, and it's just, like Julio's like, yeah, sounds pretty damn good. But, it makes for a fantastic burger. So, we wanted to leave you with that. And, of course, we're heading into the holiday season, so I just wanted to remind everybody to please stay safe. During the holiday season, no drinking and driving, no bad stuff happening to any of you out there in Firehouse Chef's land, and just have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We're going to be off for 2 weeks, so we'll have a couple of reruns, and we'll be back on whatever that first January or that Wednesday in January is. But stay tuned for Firehouse Chef's social media for updates about the show. And again, go to rantradionetwork.com. Click on Firehouse Chefs Radio for archived episodes. Chef Eddie, thanks for being in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Happy holidays to you. And Firehouse Chefs is going to have some big plans in 2014, so continue watching and listening. We really appreciate it. Happy holidays from Firehouse Chefs. Take care.